Ah, we are live. Hello. Welcome to the, I don't know, I think it is I've looked today, our 16th edition today. We've done,
Okay.
this is our 16th, yes. So welcome to the Women's Wisdom Circle. And some other people might join us, but otherwise we are fine. We are holding space for the rest of them. And I was inspired today to do a little retrospect and look over the history of what has transpired since we started talking. And also what I realized, and also like what kind of triggered it for me to do this. It's my helplessness in not knowing how to move forward with all the challenges in the world. And actually, I had come back from a trip to Pakistan last December, and it was followed by all the horrors in Paris in January. And so that's how I started talking to a few individually. And then eventually, after a talk with Bridget, we decided, okay, let's do this. Let's create a circle and let's just come together and talk. And for me, it really has been a beautiful healing journey on many fronts, from all the conditioned kind of programs that were holding me back, the perfectionist and the judgments that I had, that who do I think I am to be doing this, and on and on. I mean, all those voices that we all have. I know that. And being able to come together and create that sacred space of healing of that wounded feminine, and then gradually emerging with that new story of feminine leadership, which is actually heart-based, heart-centered, and knows how to take care of that self, that essential self, and um, leads from that centered, connected space. So that is really what is emerging for me. Many empowering moments. I mean, we also did that challenge, 30 days radical self-care challenge on the Facebook group for, I think it was in July. We finished, I think, in August. And now we can talk about what is emerging and how we want to move forward with this. But what I'm seeing, it's like the empowering conversations that we are having are supporting each of us wherever we are at, and it's kind of a structure without a structure, which is probably um, how can I say? Oh, I'm seeing a message here. I'm having problems. You cannot hear me? Okay, maybe Fiona, you can mute yourself. Yeah, when we don't talk, maybe mute ourselves. Is it better? Can you hear me better now? Okay, good. So, yeah, I would like to hear um, what this space that we have, what we are co-creating, because definitely none of us could do this alone. What is that space contributing to your well-being and your movement forward with what we are all about? So before we go into that conversation, let's just do that connection exercise for a few minutes, taking a few deep breaths and getting centered in our hearts. Perhaps even closing our eyes and connecting the virtual in the virtual circle the world over. Some people on other continents might come in later or listen in to the replay. So let's include them. And taking a few deep breaths, allowing the breath to bring us into stillness, imagining being connected to the earth through our feet, perhaps even imagining a pair of roots. And as we keep on breathing, drawing in that energy, that grounding energy from the earth, moving it into our bodies, becoming more present in our bodies. And taking another deep breath, conscious deep breath in, connecting to that cosmic field all around us. We're not only earthbound, but we're also cosmic beings, connected to a much larger field of awareness and a much larger field of inspiration and knowledge. Just allowing that energy, that light from the universal forces to move down into our body, creating that central column of light, moving through our bodies and connecting to the center of the earth. Really connected at both ends. And from that space of connection, using our circle to connect through our hands, our virtual hands, sending energy and receiving energy from each other. And just taking a moment in silence to connect to what is emerging for each of us, individually and collectively, listening in. And taking another deep breath, gradually coming back to our normal consciousness and allowing the collective space through us to emerge what is appropriate for our conversation today, so that it may serve the highest good in us all and the highest good of those that will be listening to the replay at a later time. So just gradually coming back to normal consciousness. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes and come back to the room. And I'm inviting whoever feels called to start the conversation. Hello, Heidi, joined us. So we have Italy, California, the UK, and Finland twice, and France. I'm in France. So Europe is highly represented today. Kayet, would like to start, please.
I just want to share with you my instant feelings from just finding out 20 minutes ago that we have our wisdom circle starting at 9, because I didn't check my mail. I had a very day today of receiving old grief and pain of all the work I have tried to do in my groups, and and not being able to really manifest what I have had. So I have experienced again these deep emotions and really felt the longing for the nourishment of the feminine wisdom to my work, so to say. I have nourishment now from the masculine, and I can really feel now how it is very nourishing, the co-creation with my new collaborative partner. But the nourishment from the feminine, and then when I noticed the circle, I was like screaming out, "Oh yes, I have it tonight still!" So you asked, Aline, what this is giving us in your initial talk. So I really feel now the deep gratitude for what we have shared together, and seeing how I really appreciate your supportive, presence, especially into this when you are, as a feminine leader, taking the next steps of what is it really meant that I'm going to share in this world. So therefore, I feel now it's even more important to get the nourishment from the women in the same situation, who have a vision, who have an intention to be of service on a more larger scale, maybe. I don't know what the scale is, but and yes, so thank you for being here tonight. I was so happy.
Thank you, Harriet. And what is coming up for me when I'm hearing you is, I don't know, correct me if I didn't catch it exactly the way you said it, but the disappointment of not having yet manifested that, I don't know whether it's the business or the type of relationships that you have been kind of sourcing and you're not having received it yet in your community, etc. But this is a long-term project, and sometimes we are measuring very short-term our progress, and that's kind of old paradigm type of attitude, where we fall into self-judgment, and outer kind of how can I say this, like, outer norm, what is acceptable or what should be, all these things that we are actually healing and that we have been healing are in the process of healing. It's an ongoing process. And so just patience and taking the next step and then the next, without expectations lead to disappointments always. It's part of that. If you want to be disappointed, just have an expectation. But if you have an intention and you keep on working to manifest the intention, it's a different energy. At least that's the way I perceive it. And maybe other people have something to add to that, Yeah, Fiona?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's I'm just so amazed at the synchronicities that are happening in this group, and it's almost for me as if we're one, but it's very practical. It's not sort of yes, we're all one. I can feel it without us having to do a lot. Maybe an example would be useful. I was visiting my parents up in Scotland, and it's always like a cycle of draining energy for me, because I try and control and make things right, and I'm very aware of that. And then somebody, some blessed lady put on the group about the peace mantra. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. And thank you. And I found the book that I'd never read in the cabin. And after I read that, I knew exactly where the book was, and I took it with me to Scotland, and it was the only book I took with me, which is very unusual. And it was so powerful because while I was staying in a hotel, rather than staying with my parents to give myself space to look after myself, I found that very difficult to leave my parents, because normally I'm in that environment. But it was when the UK decided to bomb Syria, and I was in Scotland, and Lossiemouth is quite near. And in that night, I was just so restless, but I just felt the group with me, and not just this group, but I just felt this tremendous peacefulness. And I kept saying the mantra over and over again. And it was just so powerful. And I wasn't thinking of, and I can't even remember the person's name. I've got the book here, but it doesn't really matter. I think that was what was the message for me. It didn't matter what tool it was or where it came from, and then I had the violet flame coming through. And on the way back from Scotland, I mean, there were just so many little miracles happening, and I think I was just being very similar to Harriet and also to Eileen. I was feeling these old patterns coming up, but I was able to really hold them within me, in my heart, and just work with that mantra. And as I was coming back from Scotland, there was like I think they call it Desmond. It was like a storm, and there's been terrible flooding in the UK. And as I was driving, I felt safe and protected, and I then sort of transferred it to say thank you before. Just say thank you, and knowing that I was safe driving, even though there was lorries overturning and cars, and I could feel that there was chaos, but I felt as if I was just being carried by the storm, but in a very practical way. And I think I'm just really grateful for the people who are sharing, even if it's telepathically or however it is. I'm feeling as if I'm being held and guided through this really transition that's happening. And I love the fact that this group is so authentic, that we're vulnerable, and I'm very blessed that there's so many people in my life who are sharing this with me. And also, like Harriet, I'm feeling a stronger connection to the males in my life with my sons, and it's very, very special, and I'm honouring that and taking time to fully observe it. And when the little, I think when we spoke on the last group as well, we spoke about, how we feel we should be doing all these courses, and somebody was actually saying, well, I'm not going to do any more, and then somebody was saying, well, I'm going to teach online. So, and it's tuning in and taking that time to really honour where we are and what's right for our path. So I just like to thank everybody for all the work they're doing, because I can feel it. It's really special. So that's what's coming for me.
Thank you, Fiona. And it's beautiful because what you're sharing is such a beautiful testimonial. You're referring that when you're talking about the mantra, you're referring to Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, that's it.
The work that Dr. Lou Han, he has a long name, Hawaiian psychiatrist did by healing all the judgments he had about his patients whenever he was checking a file. He actually was able to discharge them all from the psychiatric ward, but he did the internal healing. And what you are sharing, what you did when you went to Scotland and visit your parents, you know, you really were demonstrating that you took care of yourself rather than to put yourself in an environment where you knew for sure you would fall back into the old patterns. You protected yourself, you know, you used a protection mechanism and went into a hotel so that you could keep those boundaries. And that is, you know, that is what we need to do to shift that paradigm. Otherwise, it's very difficult to do. So, you know, congratulations. It's a beautiful testimonial to what we have been talking about, you know, in different ways throughout the year, really.
Yeah. Yes, it was very special, and it's very wonderful. It's wonderful to think that you're never alone. You know, even when there's a storm, and I felt as if the energy in my car was actually surrounding all the other drivers because I didn't have any road rage. Nobody cut in front of me. We were all being really kind with each other, and on the motorway, and I knew that there was a strong knowing and a gratitude. And I think what I'm moving into is really just to be grateful. You know, being grateful for small things, and not necessarily. And realizing that my energies are, you know, in other places, and that's okay, and to look after myself, and that is, yeah, that's always a challenge. But yes, thanks for acknowledging that and summarising it for me. It's lovely to hear it fed back as well.
Yes, yes, you're really embodying a different vibration when you're not in fear, and when you are in gratitude, and when you are when you are connected and centered, and then you are not victim of the fear, you know, that is around us all the time. And this is big time wisdom, you know, to know how to stay there in the current life, in the current world that we live on, where there's a lot of fear mongering going on still.
Yes, yes. And I think as well, I had somebody send a message. They wanted to have Reiki practice. They wanted to go into Reiki, and usually I get really excited and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll send them all the information, and then nothing necessarily happens. And sometimes, and then I was talking with my mentor yesterday, and I said, for some reason I'm not answering this email because I haven't necessarily really tuned into the guidance, and really honouring that not everybody is ready to work the way I am at the moment. And I have a set way, like I meet people, I don't just give my prices out and say that's okay, because I'm so desperate to serve it and share it that sometimes it doesn't, it's a type of control that I think, you know, that it's like a fear-based, because I want to do it, I want to, you know, to share. So that's something that I'm sort of looking at the moment. I've actually stopped and not responded, and not feeling guilty about it or feeling I'm not serving, just saying, okay, let's just park this for a moment, see, you know, just see what you know, what the truth is. And really tune into that. So that's really on a business sense. And I can relate to Harriet, because I keep saying, well, I could have done that. Why did I leave corporate? Because, you know, if I had the tools now, I could be doing so, you know, because I think it's always easy to look back with what we know now. I know we've always known it, but so that was something else that I think is a group that we're sharing, and I can certainly learn from others, and just share where I am at this moment.
Yes, powerful space of staying in the truth and allowing emergence of what is next without trying to force it, following the old patterns of how you would have done it in the past. It's a powerful space to be in, allowing emergence.
Yes. I'm being very vulnerable. But,
yes. Can I just comment briefly on that to listen to what is emerging? Because I feel the challenge of being in the space in between. So not being really clear of being clear of some next steps, but in the space in between where you really need to leave those old patterns, and you recognize, as Fiona said, how these old patterns are up. And I'm so grateful for you, Fiona, sharing that mantra to use immediately to protect yourself, to really understand that it's all about being centered and grounded in yourself so that you can follow what is really emerging here and now. Thank you for sharing that.
thank you.
Thank you, Harriet, and welcome, Deborah.
Thank you, Aline. I had a phone call just as I was getting ready to jump on, and it was very important. So I appreciate all of you being here, and I'll listen in to kind of catch up.
Good. All right. So maybe you can mute yourself, because that's what we're all doing, And I see Heidi has unmuted herself. You want to talk, Heidi?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about what Fiona said about you commented about emerging, what the next steps are, and to have this patience to wait for it. I always in the moment I have some of these days where I'm so impatient or almost depressive, because it's always so waiting. Shall I do that? Shall I do that? That and that. So many things, and the need to really get finally, have the impression to go one way and not 6 ways or 20 ways or 100 ways at the same time, This is I find it difficult to hold. Why, when I have to do things, regular things to do, and I have my schedule full, and then it's no question, because you do these things. If it's the right things or not, this is not so much important, but you have something to go on. But as soon as these immediate urgencies fall away, I stay here, and I'm here and think, oh gosh, and should I do really, what is it, and I don't know if you have the same, all of you, similar experiences with that, but to really allow that it is emerging, and even if it takes years, I'm now about in the 4th year almost in the research what I really want to do, to give out my message in a way that it's not too narrow, but neither too big. I mean, too dispersed, Keeping the patience.
I hear you. I can relate. We're talking about 4 years. For me, it's even been longer. But you know what? It doesn't matter anymore, because I am now having elements of my message in a way that I never had before, when I was doing another program and another program and another program, having that structure. I am now, if you want, not really in a structure anymore, and allowing my own kind of stuff to emerge, and learning to speak about it in a different way, and recognizing really that I have been speaking it all along, but I was still holding it at a, how can I say this, at a head level. So I've been speaking my message all along, but now it's coming from a more integrated place and more heart-based, heart-centered base. And therefore, I am less scared to voice it. Before, when it was coming from the head, and what I knew, because we do all those exercises to kind of map it out, line it out, express it, etc. I was scared to speak it because it's not, this is my message, but are other people gonna like it? Are other people gonna agree with it? I still had the outside focus where I needed the approval, and I had not sufficiently integrated my own message to dare express it from the inside out, and not fall victim to my own judging.
Yeah, this is important.
Space, really, for me. I mean, I must say, this is not something that I have experienced. Really have experienced this more clearly in the last 6 weeks, since early November. So it could have something to do, with the energies, the ascension energies we're moving through globally, or also simply because now I have stopped, and like I was sharing at the beginning, I'm in this kind of space, like in France, but I'm really just doing what I want and not feeling like I need to do something else. And I haven't been traveling for the last, since when did I hear? October, November, almost 3 months. I haven't been on a plane, which is blissful for me, It's like most of the time I shuffle back and forth, between continents. And that kind of keeps you distracted, and until you kind of ground yourself. So all that, helps me start to name things in a different way and own it, not just head saying, not just saying it, but integrated it, bring it out in an integrated way. So that's what I want.
And I would think, going back to my situation, what I have done in the last 4 years, I see it a little bit as a preparation, like a big school. And sooner or later, probably, I need all these skills, I mean, when I think about doing the shows, tomorrow we are having our celebration, you are invited. We are with Margarita for 2 years, these shows. When I think at the beginning, speaking in public, oh gosh, and how we can learn all these things. And if we want to get the message out, we must be able to speak in public, for instance. So, all these things needs to be learned. And what we are doing here, for instance, the same thing, no? So I always calm myself and say, okay, you are learning, and it's when the school is over then. Then you go out and do your job, sort of. Yeah.
How about if this is our job right now?
Mm-hmm.
We are
probably. I'm still in the future thinking,
Yeah,
what I should do.
That's the old paradigm.
Mm-hmm. So when like in Finland, is it true that they have now an income, guaranteed income, everybody, 800 euros? No, it's not true. Oh, I was full of envy. Can you speak to it? Just tell me how it is, because there were articles who said that it is.
I don't know what you're talking about 800.
About the guaranteed income for everybody. It was an article that Finland is beginning to do that, and I thought, oh, this would be great, because then we wouldn't need to worry about anything. We just could really do what we want,
That comes again to the topic we talked about at the end of August, how money is used to enslave us. We're coming round circle again to that topic, And I just want to say something. I probably will send you a link, and when I send you the recording of this of the replay. I was listening to Michael Tellinger talking about the Ubuntu philosophy yesterday or 2 days ago, which is really all about creating a world without money. And he is experimenting it because you need to have a power base to do it. That means he is attempting to get elected now in small municipalities in South Africa, where he is from. And from there, if he can get a few municipalities, really small, then the main ideas of the philosophy is to create free energy through turbine, water turbine, create free energy for the people so they don't have to pay in the municipality. And in exchange of that free energy, they have to work 3 hours in a community project, which is growing food or manufacturing whatever the community needs. And that becomes, in a first stage, what they will sell to the world, because you cannot shift from a money-based economy to absolutely no money in one go. So he has a plan to do it. It was extremely inspiring. I'll send you the link to that if I can still find it. I'm sure I can find it. It was really interesting, and I think we need to kind of seed those ideas. People who have a lot of work. I mean, he's been talking about this for years now, and I've heard him on a few different shows, and every single time he inspires me deeply, So it's something we need to do, and to support people who have ideas like this. Anyway, this is, coming back to the money topic, because, that's how we are on that treadmill of kind of always kind of running after something because we need to pay the rent and blah, 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 Deborah, you want to speak?
Well, since I'm at the other end of the spectrum and the, quote, retirement end, when I hear something like that, what is part of that plan to take care of those who have reached that point in life where they're no longer able to contribute on a physical level into the community? Maybe they can contribute through wisdom or other functions, but that sounds utopian from the standpoint of it's all great while everybody's young and healthy. What's going to happen to those who are beginning to see their bodies shift and change and age?
Well, I'm quite sure that in a world like this, there would be a plan for those people also. But I cannot speak to his program. I'm not familiar enough with it, But it's something we could start to entertain and support, at least, because it needs to be making it needs to be modeled somewhere. So I'm even looking at maybe giving him a small donation for his campaign, because it's like if he can prove it and make it work in one part of the world, it will generate some it's all kinds of comments going, and I'm not having time to read them. Is there anything you need to tell me that I should know? Okay. I'm just seeing things popping up on the right-hand side. So I'll send you the link, and it's for whatever you want to make out of it.
I wanted to say that I'm about aging. You know, it's beginning to be a concern with me too, and we are planning to do on a conference something about aging. And I would invite you to who feels that they are in this area going there to once have a talk only about that with us, with Mark and me. That's not only women but also men, and to explore this a little bit. We have done it just before, and I think it's a really important thing because as long as you are young and have all these ideas and you can do still this, and then it's no matter if it takes longer, you know, for what you want to do. But as a certain age comes, and as you said, maybe some physical things begin, how can we meet that, and how can we from the institutions, it's one thing, but from our inside, and how can we create, for instance, community, support communities, whatever. I mean, this is just running in my head, and if you would like, I would invite you to one of those hangouts in some days or so, and would be happy.
I would too, because let
me know in the chat who is interested, and then
one of my dream is to create, and it's like I have no idea how, but you know, I mean, I'm just going to say it now because it's coming out, is to create such a community where you have all generations living together on a common land, each maybe in a house, etc. And the wisdom of the elders, just like in the old tribal societies, the people who from the land, they were respected. This is not the case in those modern societies where the old people get discarded and not even listened to. So it's coming back to such a project, you know, and I know some of those communities already exist.
Exactly. There already exist some of these experiments, yeah.
Yeah. Either to tag along with one of those or to come together and create one. It requires, you know, the vision and the intention, and then make it work, you know.
I just wanted to say something, if possible. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Vivian. I was just thinking about what you said about, is it Adelaide? About aging. And, you know, we only, first of all, aging is a state of mind. And it has to do with our belief system. And the body is made to survive to at least 150 years if we're in ideal environments. And the environment is not so much on the outside as much as it is on the inside. And I've been working with these concepts for 36 years now, and in actually developing a healing method that I've been using to help people to heal one person at a time. And it's proven to be very successful. It's not just a matter of information and intelligence and wisdom, which is very important, but it has to do also with the idea of letting go of skepticism and cynicism and those things that keep us from opening up to new ideas, to new ways of being, and to a new approach that is possible without having to reinvent the world. And I've been doing this for many, many years now, and getting the word out is more excruciating than anything else, because I'm up against people who, because they haven't heard of it or they've never been exposed to it, don't believe it's possible. And when you don't believe it's possible, you close down all the possibilities in your world. Knowing that there is a possibility to heal I've worked with cancer patients. I've worked with people with excruciating pain from accidents, motorcycle accidents, car accidents, you name it. The point is, they don't believe that the pain can go away unless they take a little magic pill. And the pain will not go away with a magic pill. It will mask the symptoms, certainly, but it will not heal the pain. And so when I tell them that it's possible to interrupt the pain, which is what I do, then they either hang up on me or they go away somewhere, you know. Those who have believed what I have said was possible have healed. And the pain was gone, is gone, permanently. So it's a matter of our opening up to possibilities and to understandings that were not necessarily available to us before. That's what's needed. So understanding that and knowing that we are much more than we seem to be. There is so much depth to be plumbed that is not necessarily readily available. It's not going to come from the allopathic, the conventional medical model. It's not. And we have to invent it. So that's what I've done. That's what I've been doing with people for 20 years now, of successfully working with every patient I've worked with. And people who listen to me and say, well, you can't have 100% success rate, it's not possible. Well, it is. It is possible. For those of you who are skeptical, I suggest opening up to that possibility, because it is. And I'm not here to sell myself. I'm here to just push the boundaries a little bit wider.
Yeah. Thank you, Viviane. You know, it's like it's very inspiring to hear you share it, and I know you. You know, we've talked many times, and I can just relate to one small experience where, when I turned 50, I had all kinds of aches and pains in my body, and you know, I had the voice of my mother saying, "Oh well, you're getting old; it's normal," you know. And then I read a book of Deepak Chopra, Ageless Body, Ageless Mind, something like this, you know. And my belief system shifted in an instant. And instead of being, you know, before I was not able to do any yoga pose or anything like this. And suddenly, after this shift in my belief system, instantaneously, I was able to do a certain position. Not that I like to do that position or I'm comfortable doing it, but that was like a wake-up call. And so many things, you know, the mental construct that we have bought into is the problem. Everywhere, you know, and I'm testing it. I feel today at 67 much healthier and much more in shape than I was when I was 50. I'm actually getting younger and feeling better and healthier than ever before.
Right.
So I have bought into that possibility that I will age in a healthy way and not bought into the pain. So I appreciate what you're saying, because it kind of reinforces my belief system about what is possible. Thank you, Viviane.
You're welcome.
Who would like to talk? Liz, we haven't heard from you yet. You have to unmute yourself.
Yes. I hopefully did that already. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just very happy. I find myself smiling all the time when I'm listening to you. And it was, who was it? Harriet, was it you talking about nutrition? and I'm getting nutrition a lot from you ladies, and I appreciate. I'm grateful for that. After being through the last stages of my cycle, something that Heidi mentioned, and we've been chatting here all about, right today, a couple of hours ago, giving birth to the next level of my business. I thought that there would, at least not at this point, there would be no more surprises there behind the corner or behind the tree, but actually there was. And I was stopped, fully stopped today, and in a second I realized that I need to reconsider, I need to rethink, I need to find a new way to think. And of course, always the new that is calling is something that is very original, authentic, genuine. So
I've lost you. Can you still
find some notes behind me? They are here. Yeah. I'm starting sort of all over again. And let's see what we can do here. Okay, can you still hear me? Can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I've muted myself, thinking that maybe it will be better, So.
Okay. Great.
Then I'm going to mute myself so you have better maybe.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay, let's hope that we have a connection here. So yes, it was a pit stop kind of. I'll add a little bit of volume, and I did a niche switch today. I realized how I need to rearrange everything to take the right steps for the whole big picture that I'm creating here, and I'm a little bit
I guess you seem to have some problems with your. Maybe you remove the video for a while you are speaking, Liz. There seems to be some internet connection problem on your end. Can you hear, Liz, the others?
Yes, I can hear you. Let me just take. How about now?
Yeah, that's better now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know where I lost you, so or you lost me. I don't know which way it was. But
what I heard last, you were saying that you have been changing your niche, and you did a complete change, and then after that, I couldn't hear you anymore.
Yes, that was what happened today. So I don't know even how to describe my feelings, because this has been like a roller coaster for the past weeks, and today what I found out, or just sort of saw the daylight, was not too much. I'm really happy about it. I'm really grateful about it. But let's say that right before tomorrow morning, I need to know how to design the websites, what would be the title for the telesummit, and a lot. So the best thing here is that I'm having fun, and I don't know if that's even healthy at the moment, because today's surprise means a lot of extra work for the next coming days and hours, but I'm still enjoying it, and that must mean, at least it means to me, that I'm somewhere where I need to be, probably in the core, and I'm happy. I'm so happy. And I'm not freaking out, really. I'm just super happy. And trying to find my way to handle the situation and explain it to my team or my co-workers tomorrow morning, and convince them that this is exactly the way where we should be going. Yeah. So I'm having this euphoric, stage and place of being. So I cannot really be concerned about money. Maybe tomorrow morning it's time for that, and I'm just happy that this cycle is over and I'm where I am at the moment. I know that Heidi was talking about elder people. I'm convinced that I'm probably more of an elder than many others, because I've seen so many cycles. I've been volunteering to see so many cycles in my life during this life, also adding the past lives and everything before that. So yeah, and I'm just sucking in the nutrition that you're sharing here, and enjoying a lot, enjoying the ride, enjoying the space and the moment that we are having here together, and this feels amazing. It just feels amazing. Thank you very much.
Well, very inspiring, Liz. You're very
Thanks.
inspiring, and this is really what you're really manifesting, that new story of feminine leadership leading from joy.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? It will work out, and you can tell it the way it is. It doesn't have to be predetermined. I'm fed up of all those webinars and formats of teleseminars. I've sweated it out for the whole year trying to create a format of a webinar, and you know what? I don't think I'm going to do it. I will do it my way. So I trust you that you will do it your way, and that it will come out exactly the way you guided for it to come out.
Yeah, probably. And probably all the amount of work and everything to do and my huge to-do list will be shorter tomorrow morning. And maybe my perspective has changed, and I see the keep it simple and sincere in everything. I love the new kiss that I learned recently, keep it simple and sincere. And that is the way I'll try to keep it. And the thing is that this joy, the feminine leadership, and the joy that you're referring in the chat to, for me, it comes from the pelvic bowl. It comes through the heart, yes, but it also comes, it's very rooted, it comes from the pelvic bowl. And that is where I feel that we women as feminine creatures, we are connected.
Yes.
And I just want to quickly mention that during the meditation you guided us through, I felt women, I don't know how many, but a crowd, a group of women with me, inner circle, skin to skin, and it felt amazing. felt just as warm as you feel skin to skin. Very close, very warm, very connected, for sure. Yes. Just wanted to thank you for that, because it was amazing experience. Yeah.
Thank you. And you know, when you're talking about women are connected to the, you know, that pelvic bowl, whether it's, you know, around the navel, etc. There is actually scientific proof that the neurological connection, the electromagnetic field of that space, is even larger than the one of the heart.
Oh, I agree totally.
And so that is actually a scientific fact. And this is where we connect to that area, to the field, the interconnected field. This is where our power lies. And the whole journey for us is to integrate whatever we know rather than staying in the head, which is the program that we are all healing from. Embodying that knowledge, integrating it, embodying it, heart center, but also below, lower than that. Connect and then connecting to the larger field of life through that part. And that's really where the real power lies. So thank you for sharing your experience of feeling that connection, because that's how we really truly are connected.
You're welcome, and I agree with you totally. And if you have a link to that study that shows that the electromagnetic field of the pelvic bowl is even more than the heart's, I would really like to read it, because this is the way I've been teaching for quite many years now, and I feel that the most important element in the feminine being is the pelvic bowl. There's all the wisdom, there's all the history, there's all the memories, and from the collective level as well as from your personal level, since the day one you arrived to this planet, and even further away, and it's all sort of archived in the pelvic bowl. Then when you can feel your, Harriet knows the Finnish word for palo, flames, fierceness, fire, whatever it is. The Finnish word palo means so much more than fire, but let's use fire. When it warms your heart, and when it warms your heart, it gets through your voice, and then the resonance to your message is just the right resonance. So when you're sharing your message out, reach to your pelvic bowl, and you will find the right resonance, the right warmth in your voice and in your words. And as I noticed that the time is flying, I just want to thank you for letting me share this and enjoying the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz. And if I am not mistaken, I believe it is Ken Wilber who shared that in his very first course module of the Superhuman Operating System. But I'll double check it, because I have notes, definitely. If it's not him, then it might have been, what's his name? Bruce Lipton. But I'll double check it. And if I can find you know, I'll send it on. All right, yes, our hour has passed fast, and it's getting more and more interesting, our conversations. At least I love it, you know. So I'm inviting you to unmute yourself and to say one last word if you want, or what you're taking out from our connection today. And then we are meeting again most likely next Monday, because after that it'll be Christmas and New Year. So after that it'll go into the new year. And yes, so just let me know if you want to say something. Otherwise, we'll just say goodbye until next week. Whoever wants to come on Monday, I'll send the event page. I was waiting to complete this one before I did the other one, but I had sent out the doodle for the next 4 weeks.
I would like to ask Viviane for her website, if you maybe can share it somewhere.
Of what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Your website or a book or something, what you are doing. I would be interested.
Yes, my website has my book available as well, and the website is drvcarson.com. DRV Carson, CARSON.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will try it.
I would love to talk to your group if you have one. I do have the Mind-Body Healing Connection talks that I do for anyone who's interested. I would be happy to do that.
I will connect with you personally, okay?
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I'm sorry that I was in and out of the hour today because I was getting so many phone calls that I had to take that were inappropriate, but nevertheless I answer every phone call. So I apologize for if I was disruptive in any way.
You were not disruptive, and I understand, you know. Viviane handles all her calls, you know. I mean, I don't know how many calls you have a day and how many hours, 11 hours on the phone every day, right? You told me that one point, you know, I mean, it's just
12 hours, yeah.
Yes. All right. All right. So if there is no last word, I will say goodbye, and let's connect again next week. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day or sleep well.
A wonderful day. Aline, est-ce que tu as quelques instants? Je veux rester un peu.
D'accord. Oui. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
The broadcast. Okay. Bye-bye.